In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a trigger order on the Huobi futures market. This video is not financial advice and is for educational purposes only. If you get some value out of this video, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe for future content. Let's get into the video. I'll go ahead and demonstrate a trigger order using Bitcoin versus Tether Perpetual. So the first thing we need to do is come up here to the order panel, toggle from market over to trigger. Now that the order panel is configured, we need to choose a trigger price. This is going to be a price point that triggers Huobi to place an order. And we can place a limit order or a market order. So I'll demonstrate with limit orders first, and then I'll do another demonstration with market orders. So let's head over here to the chart, and I'm going to quickly grab a couple horizontals here. I'm going to put a horizontal on the chart right here. We'll call that support. And I'll go ahead and grab another horizontal, and let's go ahead and mark out these candle bodies right here, as well as these ones back here. And we'll call that resistance. Now we can see Bitcoin's playing out a sideways range on the daily chart. And maybe we're thinking to ourselves, perhaps this range is going to break sometime in the near future. And we don't really care if that's to the upside or to the downside. Maybe we just want to try to catch a breakout trade. And perhaps we'll try using a trigger order to get that done. So let's cover the bottom side of the range first. And choose a trigger price that triggers Huobi to enter us into a short position if support was to break. And maybe we want to use this wick right here as our trigger price to the downside. So what I'll do is I'll grab another horizontal and I'll mark out an area just below that red wick, maybe something like this. Now I can see a price point on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 29,463, just below that wick. And maybe I'll use that as my trigger price for Huobi to place a limit order to enter me short. So we'll come over here to the order panel and I'll type that into trigger price. We'll go 29,463. Next, I need to choose a price point that Huobi is going to place a limit order to open my short position. And for this demonstration, I'll use the horizontal just above the horizontal of my trigger price. And of course, I can see the price point of that on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 29,766. So I'll go ahead and type that into price. 29,766. So if Bitcoin hits my trigger price at 29,463, Huobi will place a limit order for my short position at 29,766. So now I need to choose the size of the position I wish to place in this order if my trigger condition gets hit. So what I'll do for this demonstration is I'll just go 0.01 BTC. Now that I have this set up the way that I want it, I just simply click right here on Open Short. Then you'll get your order confirmation pop-up window. Make sure the details are what you intended. And if they are, just simply click on Confirm. Now I've placed that trigger limit order for a short position if the bottom side of this range was to break. So if Bitcoin was to fall through support and hit my trigger condition right here at 29,463, Huobi will place a limit order for a short position back up here at the former support at 29,766. So for this idea to work, I need Bitcoin to come down, hit my trigger price, come back up, fill my limit order, and then roll over to the downside to put this in a profit. If Bitcoin was to come down and hit my trigger price, come back up and fill my limit order to go short, but then just re-enter this range, that's going to put this trade idea at a loss. So now that we have the bottom of this range covered, let's go ahead and set up a trigger order to open a long position if the top side of this range was to break. So let's imagine that I want to use this wick right here as my trigger price to place a limit order to open a long position if the top side of this range was to break. So I'll go ahead and grab a horizontal here and I'll mark that wick out, something like this. Now I can see a price point on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 31,845. So we'll come over here to the order panel and we'll type that into trigger price. We'll go 31,845. I'll go ahead and try that again. 31,845. Next, I need to choose a price point for Huobi to place my limit order to open my long position. And I'll use the horizontal just below the horizontal for my trigger price. And of course, I can see that price on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 31,219. So I'll type that into price right here. We'll go 31,219. And for amount, I'll do the same thing to the upside as I have set for the downside. Now that I have this set up the way that I want it, I'd come down here and click on Open Long. Confirm that the details are what you intended, and then click on Confirm. Now I've placed that trigger limit order at the top side of the range. So if Bitcoin was to work its way back up and hit my trigger price up here at 31,845, Huobi will place a limit order to open a long position at 31,219. So for this trade to work, I need Bitcoin to come up, hit my trigger price, then pull back, confirming the former resistance as future support, filling my order at 31,219, and then I'd be looking for continuation to the upside for this trade idea to be profitable. If the price of Bitcoin was to come up and hit my trigger price, then pull back and fill my limit order, but simply re-enter this range, that's going to put this trade idea at a loss. So now we have both sides of this range covered. Whether this breaks to the upside or to the downside, Huobi will place a limit order to open us short or open us long. We can find the details of our trigger order if we come down here and click on Open Orders next to Positions. Then simply click right here on Trigger Order. And here's where you'll find the details of your trigger order. If at any point you want to cancel these, just come over here on the right hand side under Action and click on Cancel. Just like so. And as you can see, I just removed both those trigger orders. We can also use trigger market orders, which will fill immediately at the best available price if our trigger condition gets hit. So I'll quickly show you how to do that. We'll come back to the order panel. We'll make sure we're set to trigger. Then we'll come down here to the price box and you'll see a tiny little arrow. Just give that a click. And what I like to do is just use best 20. So click on that. And now we've configured the order panel to place a trigger market order. So let's go ahead and use the same price points. To cover the bottom side of the range, I'll use the price point of 29,463. So I'll go ahead and type that into trigger price. We'll go 29,463. And I'll do the same position size. We'll go 0.01. And I'll go ahead and click on Open Short. Confirm the details. Click on Confirm. Now I've placed that trigger market order to the downside. So if Bitcoin was to roll over from here and hit my trigger condition at 29,463, this order will simply fill immediately at the best available price. So I'd be looking for price action to break through support, fill my order right here, and then immediate continuation to the downside for this to be profitable. If Bitcoin came down, hit my trigger price and filled my order, and then bounced back into the range, this would be put at a loss. So let's go ahead and set one up for the top side of this range as well. And I'll go ahead and use that same horizontal coming in at 31,845 as my trigger condition. So I'll come over here to the order panel and I will type in 31,845. And I'll do the same position size. We'll go 0.01. Now that I have this set up the way that I want it, I'd click right here on Open Long. Confirm the details and then click on Confirm. And now I've placed that trigger market order to open a long position if the top side of the range was to break to the upside. So if Bitcoin was to work its way up and hit my trigger price right here at 31,845, my long order is going to fill immediately at the best available price, and I'd be looking for immediate continuation to the upside for that idea to be profitable. If Bitcoin came up and filled my long order, but then rolled over and came back into the range, I'd be put at a loss. If one of your orders was to fill and price action was to move favorably, just make sure to come back and cancel the other trigger order. And of course, we can find the details of those orders if we come down here, click on Open Orders next to Positions, click on Trigger Order, and here's where we'll see the details of those trigger orders. If at any point you want to cancel them, just come over here under Action and click on Cancel. Just like so. Now, as you can see, I just removed those trigger orders. So there's one way a trigger order can work. Of course, there's several ways to use a trigger order. And at the end of the day, you'll have to do your own technical analysis on the asset and the time frame that you're looking to trade and choose price points that make the most sense for you. But that's how you can set a trigger order. And there you have it. That's how you can set up a trigger order. If you got some value out of this video, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe. Also, feel free to check out my other Huobi tutorials, which I've put together in a playlist on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for coming by and checking out this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And until I do, have yourself a powerful day.